Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take time to talk about the biggest threat to our nation, our ability to thrive as a nation and an economy. And it's not really being addressed, even with the Herculean efforts of the Doge and everybody else talking about what cuts we're going to make to the budget, which is around $7 trillion right now. But we need to have a realistic conversation. We're $35 trillion in debt. $35 trillion. We bring in less than $5 trillion per year to pay those debts and to pay for the entire budget. If we didn't have a budget, if we spent nothing on the United States, if we spent nothing for the military, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, everything in our budget, it would take us over 7 years to pay off our debt, paying nothing else. And that doesn't count the $1 trillion of interest we're paying right now per year. So let's have a realistic conversation. This problem is bipartisan. The real divergence of the debt to GDP ratio started in about 2004, so about 20 years ago. It happened when we had a Republican president, and it's continued regardless of who is in control of the presidency or the House or the Senate for that matter. If we talk about the future, the 75% of the budget that's non-discretionary. Some people call it mandatory. We are Congress. There's nothing mandatory about spending. But if we don't address these issues, we're in trouble as a nation. If we're out of balance and our debt to GDP ratio becomes too extreme, our currency will fail and we'll no longer hold the position we have in the world as we are economic powerhouse. If you think that I'm threatening Social Security, not at all. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. I want to secure it because, quite frankly, if we don't do something about Social Security, it will be insolvent in less than 10 years, and it will take an automatic 21% cut without a vote. We have no control over that. Or we can, as Congress, say, no, we're just going to print a whole bunch more money and saddle our children and our grandchildren with that burden into the future and increase our debt ratio again, threatening our currency. If you think I'm here to threaten Medicare, again, you're mistaken, greatly mistaken. If we do nothing within about a decade, it will be cut automatically by 11%, or we'll have to make the emergency standard to print more money and again saddle our future generations with debt they cannot pay. Debt that will saddle our economy, saddle our ability to function as a government, debt that will disrupt everything we know in America to be good. Our abilities, our opportunities, all the things that make us thrive as a nation. As Coolidge famously said, the business of America is business. Business cannot thrive if we don't have an American currency as the standard of the world. So therefore, I want us to have those serious conversations. I want us to not have those automatic cuts. And I want to make sure that we do what we can do to cut as much of the deficit spending as possible. Remember, 30% deficit per year cannot be conquered just by one budget. But we have about 2 years to take this opportunity because, quite frankly, so many times I keep on hearing my peers in this Congress talk about the things we need to give away. That comes at a cost to all Americans. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. We have to have real reform and not just our discretionary budget, which is only 25% of what we discuss. 25%. We have to have an entire budgetary process that's bipartisan, so we can have a solution for all Americans going forward. And with that, I yield.